spring games are unique, and I felt like this one was as good as any that we've been around. Number one, you want to play hard, and I thought they did that. Number two, you don't want to get anybody hurt, and nobody even laid on the field, so I didn't feel like that anybody got hurt, especially enough where they will not be able to go back and be ready for preseason, and that was key. And then the other thing, you want them to compete when you tell them that you're going thud, because you got so many people hurt, that you'd like to see guys practice and get in the right place and have to think on their feet and be in position to make plays, and still be physical enough that it makes them compete. It usually hurts the running game, believe it or not, because they blow the whistle quick when somebody's grabbing, and you've got big backs like we do. They usually get 4 or 5 yards more than when somebody pulls them and tries to hold them. But I thought Drake played well. I thought Connor Harrell did some good things. Both Elijah Green and Omarion Hampton have had a very good spring. You start looking at British. It's so good to see him back out there, and he got a lot of plays. We couldn't have played him in tackle, so that's why we felt like that he needed to get a lot today and give him confidence going into the off season. And we'll be a better team tomorrow because you got Caleb Hood back, and George Pettaway will be back, and Tez Walker looked good. He's going to be special. Nate McCullum made a great play, so I feel like he's got a chance to keep growing and being good. Drake's Drake. He always plays good. We think we've really improved in the offensive line, but mostly we've improved up front on defense. The defense did very little today for schemes. They didn't move very much, and still I felt like that they made a lot of good plays without scheming, and that's something that we couldn't have done last year and didn't do very well. So we've got 7 of our signees here today. 10 or 11 of those guys will be here in the next month, so that helps us as well. I just think spring's been what we wanted. We wanted to continue to talk about going from good to great and doing little things right, and they've done that, and I'm sure excited about it. Disappointed that we had one bad snap on a field goal, and Noah Burnett made it anyway. It was a great hold, and then we had another missed kick by Ryan Coe. We got to make all the field goals. That's something that we've got to get more consistent with. Our punters did a really good job in pre-practice, but very few turnovers. I don't think there are any, which again, that happens more with thud because you don't have as many strips and tips and that kind of stuff. But offense took care of the ball, and defense has got to continue to work on stripping it. The other thing is the transfer portal starts today. As of now, we haven't had anybody call us and tell us they want to transfer. And I told the guys after practice that this is the new world is transparency, and the new world is relationships. And I had a meeting with the parents this afternoon as well. And I told the parents that I know you love your sons more than anybody else's son. I got that. I got 4 kids, and I've got 6 grandkids. And I want mine to all be happy, and I want them to all play. So I get it. But we have to win. And if you're position coach, and we got about 12 people now, a lot of experienced coaches that are looking at every player. If they do not feel like that your son should get more snaps, then he's not going to get them at this point. And we have exit interviews next week where every player will sit down with every coach individually, and he will say, what do I need to do better? Why aren't I getting more snaps? Whatever is on his mind, he will say to the coach. And I've told our coaches to be really, really honest with them, and we'll go over that for a couple hours on Monday to make sure that we're all on the same page. So I don't know if anybody will go in the portal, but if they do, we'll be very supportive of it and try to help them. And I think that's just the new way to do it, and we will work really, really hard to make sure that they get placed. Questions?
Mack, it sounds like holding Travis Shaw and Elijah Huzzy out was just precautionary, right?
Yes, that was the other reason we went. We decided to go thud because even Bryson Nesbitt is close. But if you're close in a spring game and you go out there and you pull something or or hurt a knee, but all of the guys except Malachi Hambrick, I think, Jeremy, all the guys except Malachi Hambrick will be ready to go when we start preseason in the fall.
When we talked to Gene a couple weeks ago, specifically about Tamari and Travis, he said that they improved their short area quickness and alluded to them being much better off the snap. What we saw today across the board there, has the whole group individually and collectively improved their
Yes.
short area quickness, and that was a result of them being better up front?
Yes, absolutely. We're quicker off the ball. We're playing with lower pads. We're using our hands better, and we're penetrating. We're being more violent, and that's something you have to do to disrupt an offense, and something we haven't done. So I'm excited, and we have really challenged those guys to do it. I thought I saw Jacoby Cowan today make some plays, and he's getting better every day. I thought I saw Bo Atkinson make some plays, but we're telling them that if you don't show up, if you aren't somebody that when we watch the video we can say that guy's making plays, then we can't play you. But Kevin Hester's had his best spring, and they're all just learning to play with lower pads, and they're growing up, and they know that there's been a whole lot of talk about our defensive front seven, especially our defensive line, not penetrating, not getting tackles for loss, not getting sacks, and I think they've heard it, and they're tired of hearing it, and they're trying to make sure that they're rectified.
You've mentioned Bo Atkinson's name a couple times since spring started. Has he worked himself into a position where he could be in the rotation next season?
Yes, you've got to look at, this will be Monday, and we should probably have a meeting after Monday so we can talk about the final decisions, but you've got Des Evans back. He wasn't out there today. He'll be a power end. And then you've got Jacoby Cowan and Bo Atkinson working at the power end. And you've had Jabari Ritchie working there this spring. Jabari will go back to 3 technique, he and Miles. So it'll give you 3 players there with a chance to get playing time in the fall. And then Rucker Kamen, who's one of the best players we've got, and showed it again today. He shows it every day. He can play both power end and he can play jack. So that helps us, and we're really excited about Amari Gaynor. He helps us because he gives us another older guy at the jack position, and he gets better every day because he hasn't played that position. And then J. Brian Harvey made some plays today. Tyler Thompson made some plays today. Those guys are good young guys that we feel like have a year to grow. But when those older guys leave, we got to have somebody to step up. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt. Yeah. How encouraging was it to see the new receivers in McCollum and Walker translate what they've been doing in practice into the game?
Yeah, it was really good. At one point early in the spring, I started worrying about, because we had guys out with all of the secondary guys that were out for sure. You get some guys hurt in spring, you hit more in spring than you do in the fall. Would we be able to have enough to play? So I felt like that our guys needed to play in front of a crowd. They needed to have conversation about them. They need to be able to handle that. I thought Connor Harrell needed to be able to play in front of a crowd. So all of those were reasons that we decided to play today. And then until really this morning, I didn't decide to go thud. And then at halftime, I just decided let's just stay thud, because we had to play Omari and Elijah in that last 25 plays when we had a lot of younger guys in there, and I didn't want somebody to fall into their legs because we're thin at running back as well.
Mack, what have you made of, I guess the chemistry, what Drake has been able to develop with Tez Walker, with Nate McCollum, and maybe how quickly that's happened? It seems like, those guys, he's connected with both of those guys throughout the spring, and obviously you saw it today.
Yes, one of the main reasons those two are here is Drake. He recruited them, and he recruited them hard, and they came here because they believe in him. And then Drake is one of those guys that just subtly works so hard. So he's out there throwing with them every day. I'm surprised he's not out there after the scrimmage throwing to them. And he stays after every practice and throws to them. And that's just who he is. So it'll be so much better in the fall because he's going to throw to them every day between now the time we start with preseason. And when you have a quarterback with experience, it really helps player-led practices. Drake knows the offense, and we didn't do anything today we hadn't been doing on either side of the ball. We decided that we would not do anything today that we hadn't done last year. So that really limited both sides.
But I guess, do you feel like that's already in place with Drake and the
Yeah.
new receivers? Like that's already sort of building up the chemistry, for lack of better words, what I keep calling it.
Yes, what we saw out of Tez today is what we've seen every day. And Nate's really caught more balls than that. We didn't have a game plan. We weren't trying to get it to him, but I was glad he got the one deep ball so if I could see what's out there. He's really quick. And they're so much like Josh and Antoine. I mean, it's really freaky kind of that they fit that same mold as those two.
Yeah, we have time for two more, Coach.
Don't want to put too much into what we saw today, but is there anything you saw that maybe concerned you today, and it's been something that's concerned you a little bit the last few weeks?
No, I thought we got so much better the last week in everything. And we sit and grind on the defensive front seven after every practice. We sit in there as a defensive staff and me, and we look at every play. And then we show it to every player, every play. So we've been very demanding, but I thought Thursday's practice was probably the best practice we've had since we've been here. And it was so physical. We had a goal line scrimmage. I mean, we absolutely had a goal line scrimmage, and people don't do that in the spring. And we did, and we had 2-point plays at the end of it. So we had a 4th and goal from the 3, 4th and goal from the 2, 4th and goal from the 1, and a 2-point play. And we had 8 of those with blue versus blue. So we have gotten after them, and they have responded.
Mac, I know that the transfer portal can be changing right now as we speak. I understand that.
Yeah, I tell you, we haven't heard. I may walk out and Jeremy say somebody wants to see it.
We'll come back in and tell us.
Yeah, I'll come back in there. I told you somebody wasn't hurt, and then maybe it's Noah Taylor. I said I hadn't heard anything. I walked out, and somebody said, he hurt his knee.
Right.
Or in his knee. So.
Well, the flip side of that is are you guys looking for anything in the portal like to bring in? Is there a position that you could add to, or would be the flip side of like you might lose some guys? I understand, but like, is there any area you would like to try to address now that the spring is done? Something you might look for.
Yeah, we that'll be Monday. Really, we'll talk about it hard after we look at this. You're always looking for offensive linemen. It's the hardest thing, probably quarterback and offensive lineman are the two hardest things to hit on in recruiting. You make more mistakes with both. And it may be a systems quarterback that had great receivers, or you got to come here and fit and be able to handle everything. You never know. And that's we're constantly evaluating who we have at quarterback behind Drake, because we've had 2 great ones. We've had 2 NFL guys, and we've got to look hard at what we've got. And the other thing is any great player that you feel like can come in and start. I think just about every one of the guys that we sign is going to make an impact on our team.
Right.
And that's unusual. I'm hearing coaches across the country that say if they're hitting on 33% with their transfers, they're lucky. And all the guys are playing that have transferred in here. And that's pretty special. So Adam, more than anything else, we will talk Monday. And then the other thing is, I'm sure that we've gotten calls today already. Pat, that's why his position is so important to us. Pat Settis. He said this morning at 8 o'clock there are already 17 guys in the portal. So I'm sure when I walk in, Pat may say, we got 3 that want to talk to you, but he also may say, we got 5 want to come. So you just don't know. It's you really have to look hard at your roster management. That's become tougher than ever before.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you all.
Gang, we'll find